when Streamer Man talks about the video game instead of playing the video game. Streamer Man's not playing the video game. So that's exactly what we're gonna do today. We're gonna talk about video games, and we're gonna talk about video games that we actually can't play. Chat room? Isn't that such a great idea? And the reason why we can't play them is because they're dead. Somebody shot them in cold blood, got rid of them, took them out behind the barn, and put them out of their misery. We're looking at dead games today, and we're gonna make a dead game tier list. Now, I don't have every dead video game on this. I can't. That's a lot of there's a giant live service graveyard. There's games that went into early access that never were fully released and were canceled. There's games that are dead but have offline functionality, so they are technically alive, like Friday the 13th, and a game on this list, Multiverses, that this is someone else's list. I just kind of stole it and then added games that are actually fucking dead to it, because they have a bunch of games on here that aren't dead yet. All right, cool. I want to talk about games you can't play anymore, because then it makes more sense to talk about them. Of course, I could talk about old games, because the old games, they're old, and most people won't play them again, but you could replay them through emulation or original hardware. You can't touch these motherfuckers unless you have the source file. So let's get into this tier list of dead games. So the guy had a few things already listed, right? He has like amazing game that did nothing wrong, great game with a couple of flaws, good game that deserved better, could have been better, but it makes sense why it died, and it was obviously going to die. Now, I have a few games here. And a few of these games, I guess one of these games is twice. That's Hyperscape 2 times. A few of these games aren't dead. Like, they're actually still alive, and I want to preface that. I won't be placing them. I'm not placing any game that the servers are still up for it. That seems stupid. Because if you can go play the video game, then it's not a dead game. I gotta check Back 4 Blood real quick, though. Back 4 Blood might be actually dead. No, Back 4 Blood is still alive, because they wouldn't be selling it on Steam if it wasn't still alive. Yeah, development. Yeah, there's no additional content updates planned, but the game is not dead for Back 4 Blood. Can't place that either. Didn't plan on it, so it's fine. I had assumed a lot of these games are dead. You guys see Apex Legends here? The reason why Apex Legends is here is because that's Apex Legends Mobile, which is actually dead. Preface, Apex Legends Mobile is gone. Battlefield Mobile, also gone. Didn't put Battlefield Mobile on here. Kind of lazy. So let's get into the games. They're actually dead and gone. We cannot play in. Starting with the most obvious. We're just going to knock this shit out of the way early, right? Everybody wants to know how I feel about Concord. I don't. I have zero attachment to this game. Right? I saw it and I said, hey, this game doesn't look fun. And then I asked friends who played the beta, hey, was this game fun? And they said no. And I looked at the characters and said, none of these characters even look cool. And then I never thought about the game again until someone told me it died. Like, actually died. And I was like, oh, cool. Now, sadly, it was a paid game. What's funny about a paid game dying is it was a physical release as well. So you have the game, but got a refund, but can't use the disc. Like, the disc is actually useless. It doesn't do anything, which is kind of a cool collector's item. So you could just keep it, and now you have a dead game on a disc. I used to have a dead game on a disc that you can't play at all, regardless of the fact that it had offline, sorry, I can't call them offline, single player modes that shouldn't have required fucking online, but they did in Battleborn. I'm gonna go with good game that deserved better. And the reason why I say good game that deserved better is because the core concept of the game was very good. It was a MOBA with hero shooter elements, which made it a little different from things like Overwatch and Paladins at the time, but for some reason, they tried their very best to pretend they were an Overwatch competitor, which really fucked them. That's why I say it was a good game that deserved better. It deserved better marketing. The characters looked really cool, the environments were good, the actual single-player story mode was really fun and campy and cool and very Borderlands-esque. It had all of the makings of a good game, but it deserved better marketing, and it didn't get it, and it died for the sins of Randy Pitchford acting like he had a fucking Overwatch competitor. Thanks, Randy. The next one, The Culling. We'll just put The Culling and The Culling 2 here, and I'm going to say this is supposed to be The Culling. I'm sorry, my bad. I don't know, it got cropped really funny. Could have been better. Not a bad. They weren't bad games. They weren't bad battle royales, but they also weren't very good. And there was so many. The market was already being flooded at the time. They were trying to chase the trend, and it didn't offer anything unique enough as a battle royale for it to stick around. Right, especially with DVD already being out, I think. So like, it had like the horror aesthetic or the horror like kind of motif or whatever, but like that's not enough when you have a multiplayer live service game that's also horror based, has real horror characters, is cooler, and isn't a battle royale, and then you're not being called a trend chaser because of that. Like maybe they should have just like worked it into a different game. Maybe it shouldn't have been a battle royale. Probably could have been a lot better if it wasn't. Maybe it would have still been alive. Who knows? Can't speak too much on it. I actually didn't play the Culling 2 at all, and I only really saw the Culling 1. I watched it but never played it, so I have only a passing knowledge and passing interest in the Culling. A game that I never played at all. Paragon. I'm gonna be real. Watching Paragon is obviously gonna fucking die. What were you thinking? Right? We just had a game like this that died because it tried to market itself as a hero shooter when it's clearly a MOBA, right? I think Deadlock is doing its very best to remind people like, hey, I'm a MOBA. Hey, I'm a MOBA. Hey, I'm a MOBA. Paragon didn't do that. Paragon like was like, yeah, like these are heroes. You're a hero. You have a champion. Like you have like a legend. You're playing League of Legends in 3D, right? Say that. Say it's a MOBA. Make sure that you let everyone know it's a MOBA and like push into that market. Don't try to push into the very crowded at the time hero shooter market. It wasn't even really that crowded, if I'm quite honest. It's just Overwatch was so ubiquitous. I'm like biggest thing in the world at the time, or among the biggest things in the world, and everyone knew what it was. You couldn't really compete with it. Wasn't something you could compete with, but they tried anyway. I don't know why. A little upset because the game visually looked really cool, but is that enough to keep it alive? No. Another game that looked visually really cool, but no spark behind it, none at all. Not even a drop of hope. I don't know which Hyperscape to use. I guess I'll use this one. Did anyone like expect Hyperscape to live like watching it? It was a first-person battle royale with like almost like a cyberpunk styled aesthetic. Right as Warzone was about to get big, like I think it was right as Warzone was dropping, or maybe it was Blackout. Which Blackout is an amazing battle royale. I can't put it though because I think you can still play Blackout on console, and I don't know enough about it to say that you can't. So I'm gonna assume you can, which means I won't put it here. But Hyperscape, that's its competitor, and it was such a good battle royale. What do you do against that, right? And then Fortnite was getting bigger, PUBG was already out. What do you do against these games? Now, I will say it controlled very fluidly, and it was unique enough to survive if it had enough marketing push and maybe enough like player retention, but it didn't have those things because the other battle royales are already out and already big. The people didn't look at it enough. And I think that's like a big problem with most of the battle royales is people just didn't look at them enough because there's already other things going on, which is unfortunate, but that's just how it is. Game that's not a battle royale though. Game that's not a battle royale. It's more of like an arena fighter slash dodgeball game. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Knockout City. You guys should go watch Knockout City on YouTube. Like go watch it and then come back to me and tell me it doesn't look like a great game that indeed just has a couple of flaws. Like a higher level of play, Knockout City was super uninviting. There's another game we're gonna have to talk about with this. That was super uninviting. It made it very hard for like casual players to make it to that point, and if they ever did, the game was shifted and changed in a way that negatively impacts the vast majority of play. Like it's not as fun. The game feels more campy and like less rewarding to be aggressive and make those big plays and like push for things. And monetization was kind of bad. Like I think what I should say is I don't think the monetization model was feasible long term for this game to stay alive. That was like a problem. That's something I could also mention about Battleborn. Battleborn was a $40 game at launch or $60 game at launch. I think it was $60 at launch. And then it had a bunch of paid shit for the multiplayer. And it had single player. If they had marketed with single player offline and then like, I don't know, made the multiplayer aspect free to play, which they did towards its death, maybe it would have survived longer. But I digress. I can't talk too much more about Battleborn. I can talk about that game forever. I fucking love Battleborn. But I can't put it any higher. I have to admit that it's like a love that I understand that most people aren't going to agree with. Most people don't think it was a very good game. Those people are wrong. I think it was good. I just don't think it was like an amazing game that did nothing wrong, like up at the top up there. I don't think Splitgate is down yet, is it? Yeah, I have to check something. I don't think Splitgate 1 servers are down. I don't think, yeah, Splitgate 1 is still up. It is not down. I don't know why. Yeah, they're gonna work on the they're just working on the sequel. But it's not dead yet. Not yet. Okay, yeah, Splitgate's alive. I don't know who put Splitgate on here. I think a lot of people use the term dead game and they say a game that doesn't have a lot of players or doesn't have any more support. Those games still have servers and they're still online, unlike Evolve. Unlike Evolve. So like, duh. Those are the kind of games that I consider dead games. Now, I put it in could have been better, but it makes sense why it died, because the problem with Evolve is it's DBD. Most people don't want to play the whack-ass, loser-ass, normal human beings. They want to play the fucking monster. They want to play and you can't always play the monster, because if everyone is always playing the monster, then there's no one playing humans. You can't do that, and that makes for a terrible, lopsided experience, because there are going to be games that you are having the best time in the world, and then there are going to be games where you're having the worst time in the world. And that does not make for a good and enjoyable play experience over a long term, like over a long amount of time. Right? That's a good way to look at it. Also, there was another game I forgot to put on this list that I'm going to try to quickly add. I have to try to add this because I feel like this is... Oh, never mind. I think it's still up. Oh, it's still up. Whoa. Okay, maybe I'll try it. I'll see if it's still... Whoa. Okay. Can't add it. And since I can't add it, I won't talk about what it is. I didn't know that the Orcs Must Die team made a live service version of Orcs Must Die. I had to look this game up. Orcs Must Die Unchained. It looks like normal ass Orcs Must Die, multiplayer focus and multiplayer only. I really can't see, other than monetization things, I can't see what would be wrong with a game like this. Probably good game, deserve better. You just need more marketing. Like, what really stops people from enjoying an Orcs Must Die live service? Like, Orcs Must Die is a great, like, it's a tower defense, third-person action game. I don't actually see a problem with that. With, like, slight roguelite elements, maybe, if you count it. Or, I guess, meta progression of some kind is what I should say. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think for the most part, the game seemed like it should have had solid foundations, but somewhere along the way it lost its footing, whether that be in development time, like the amount of resources they were putting towards development to keep content flowing, or whether that be monetization and advertisement to keep players rolling in and money coming in. I think that those would have been the two undoings for this game, because otherwise, how do you ruin Orcs Must Die? People still play Orcs Must Die 2 and 3, and like Death Trap just came out. Those games still have players. Because it's just a tower defense game, it's just good. It's just good. I don't understand. Now, I know very little about War of the Vikings, but looking at what I saw, of course the shit was gonna die, bro. The fuck were you expecting? You guys want to see what it looked like? Let me show you guys War of the Vikings. Let me show you guys War of the Vikings. Of course this shit was dead, bro. No, I just want to see, like, gameplay closed alpha. Yeah. I want you guys to see. Look.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll let the game speak for itself.
Here, and today I'll be showing you some multiplayer gameplay in War of the Vikings.
Yeah.
This match here.
Y'all see that shit?
I haven't gotten a chance to play yet, but it looks like we're at the very start, so I wanted to show you as much of a full game.
This is like For Honor, but really bad.
The pretty much what we're gonna get here.
This is like
I'm just gonna hop right
chivalry, but like
over.
fucking terrible. Look at this,
Final
bro.
match of the multiplayer gameplay is
Help.
a best of 9. So basically, the Vikings need to win 4 more games. Or
Also, best of 9. That shit sounds like it takes forever, bro. I gotta make dinner. I don't have time for a best of 9.
After that time,
What do you mean?
whatever side has the most wins, obviously, would be the team who wins at that point. I'm gonna be sure.
Like graphically, it doesn't look awful, but it definitely looks a little. I know this was 10 years ago. I'll be real. This was 10 years ago, but something about this just looks early PS3. Respectfully, early PS3.
Taking a look at all the nitty-gritty, you know, basically all the
Like, and look at the way he runs and the physics of it all. I see why this game died. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna act like this game was doing something so unique that it should have stayed around and that it deserved to live. I'm gonna keep this tab open. So if I need to look at more fucked up games. So yeah, like you guys can see now why I'm just immediately throwing in was obviously gonna die. I don't know anything about Lawbreakers at all. I don't have much to say about it, which sucks. Because, I mean, it's on the list. It's like an arena shooter, right? Like, it could have been, like, look, if you make an arena shooter, right, it just lives forever, right? Like, look at Quake and Doom. Like, they probably just did something wrong. I'm gonna assume they did something wrong. There's only 2 games left that I added, and then I only have one other game on here to put. Apex Legends Mobile? This is kind of a fad. And the reason why I say Apex Legends Mobile is a fad and it was obviously going to die is because Apex Legends Mobile did not connect you to the actual normal Apex Legends. It was its own separate game, the same way Call of Duty Mobile and Warzone Mobile are their own separate games from Call of Duty. Now, Call of Duty has a huge enough install base of grown men dads who probably want to play video games on their phone because they don't have time to sit in front of an Xbox anymore. They have children to watch, houses to look over, work to be done, right? Just busy adults love Call of Duty because that's what they grew up with, right? People even older than me, 35, 36. A game like Call of Duty on the phone appeals to them because they know what it is. And those games will hold their player base. Apex Legends is relatively new. If you're a grown man, you didn't grow up with Apex Legends. You grew up with Halo, Gears of War, or Call of Duty, and moved to Apex Legends because those games aren't like what they used to be. This game was a passing fad, and because it didn't connect you to the actual Apex Legends the same way Fortnite Mobile does, it was gonna die. There was no world where this game was gonna survive longer than like 5 or 10 years. And I don't even think it lasted 5. I don't think it was 5 years. So not much I can say positively about this game. You guys already know where I'm gonna put the next game, right? This is Fall of Babylon, right? Or Babylon's Fall. Let's look at Babylon's Fall. Let's look at Babylon's Fall. Let's not be a hater. I don't know anything about Babylon's Fall, so I won't pretend I do. Babylon's Fall. This just looks like Final Fantasy. And Babylon's Fall is utterly disappointing. Should you play? The death of a game, Babylon's Fall. The disastrous fall of Babylon's Fall. Worst game of the year. 2 years ago, Babylon's Fall. Babylon's Fall is a terrible game. I think everyone just hates Babylon's Fall. I'm gonna go and just... It's a Square Enix game, so they clearly did something wrong, and it could have been a good game. I'm gonna put it there. I'm not gonna watch any gameplay of it. I saw like a little snippet, and it really, to me, just looks like... It just looks like Final Fantasy. It just looks like Final Fantasy. Like, what did they do wrong? You know, I'd have to watch a really long, this 35-minute video from Austin Eruption to find out. And, well, I can't do that at the same time as this tier list. There's just not enough time in the world. But there is enough time for me to talk about and look at one more game. And you guys probably know this one if you've watched my channel ever. And I also have videos on it, so we don't even have to steal other people's content. We can look at our own content and enjoy the enjoy the damn 2 years ago. Welcome to Capital City. I'm so sad, bro. What a game. Rumbleverse. Rumbleverse is the game I'm referring to.
Up here and heal while you guys fight it out, duke it out like men, you know? Okay.
I think this might get my VOD muted. Oh, dude, before I wore glasses on stream. Look at that. Look, whoa. I have that shirt and beanie still, by the way. I own both those things. This is 5 minutes of a fight, by the way. This is one fight. It's 5 minutes. I also probably should have lost at the very beginning, but he never comes down. I think I try to... Yeah, I put that in my pocket, and he just hangs out up there. And this was when the game was super busted. So I could actually heal right here.
I can see you. Okay.
I tried to block that. I promise. I had to superstar because otherwise I was cooked.
This game sucks.
He tried to roll twice. This is one fight. This is the final fight of the game. It took 5 minutes. This is not a joke, but it was really funny, so it's fine. He's slapping this shit out of me. I have uppercuts, so I should probably just use it. Yeah, I did. I'm so smart. I'm winded. He knows I'm winded. Nice. He's supposed to just ring me out here, but he's really stupid and lets me get all my stamina back. But this was just a wrestling battle royale. That's all it was. It was so good. Oh shit. He had ballistic?
Yeah, I just lose.
I should just lose. I don't know how I won this. I'm so smart, dude. I did the back toss because it lets me do it lets me heal. So I'm a genius. But that's all this is, right? We can skip to the end. I swear to you, this fight takes as long as this whole thing. So I can go to the end, and you'll see here, it's not over. It's still going. Right, and this is what happens when you're like good at the game. It's actually very frustrating how long it takes to kill someone when you're good. And it's like the same thing that it was a problem with Knockout City. Actually, the game becomes very campy and slow. But the game overall was extremely fun, very welcoming at like a low level. You could just like mash some buttons, find a good special, find a good throw, use super, because it's really fun. And there was a cool, unique map and traversal system. I think this was the most unique battle royale, but because it was so unique in a sea of battle royales where we already had niggas want to shoot, I don't think it was enough. Right? It being locked to Epic Games. Some people don't fuck with Epic Games. If you're gonna get on Epic Games, you're probably gonna play Fortnite anyway. But Epic Games owned the rights to the game at the time. With that, I think it was like the game itself did nothing wrong. So I want to put it in an amazing game that did nothing wrong. And I'm going to. But I want to preface the fact that truly what was wrong with the game was just the fact that it was on Epic Games, wasn't marketed very well, and the monetization was awful. Things were very expensive. I didn't mind paying for the very expensive things because I liked the game. When I got my refund for the game, I think it was like $60 or $70, which still wasn't a lot. But I didn't mind paying that, right? Over the course of the 6 months the game was alive, I probably even bought more stuff. I'd still be buying stuff for the game right now if the game was still alive. But a game like that with monetization very similar to a game like Fortnite or a game like Apex Legends, while being a significantly smaller player base and a significantly more niche audience, doesn't feel so good. Because it feels like you're like wringing your most loyal fan base out to just dry. You're like, give me all your money, like fucking wringing them like a towel. And that's really shitty. And it did not help with this game staying alive long term, along with the fact that it was on the same platform as Fortnite and probably most likely very heavily compared to it by Epic Games. They already had their golden goose, so they cut this one loose. Bars. But I do think that if there was 3 games on this list I wish could come back, they're in a straight line. They're all in a straight line right next to each other. It's Rumbleverse, Knockout City, and Battleborn. I think that those games have unique enough aspects to separate them from other games that are similar to them on the market. Yes, it is an arena shooter because you're throwing a dodgeball, but it's also an arena fighter because it has more of an arena fighter feel than a shooter feel. right? Battleborn, very much so, more a MOBA than a hero shooter, but the characters have enough personality for it to feel, to those who need it, like a hero shooter. Rumbleverse, tons of moves, very simple to understand, basic combat, very cool traversal. It was a 3D platforming, brawling battle royale. I don't know if I have any other way to describe it. You could run around the map as if you are playing a 3D platformer like a Jak and Daxter, a Super Mario Sunshine, a Super Mario Galaxy. That is how expansive the movement in the game was. It was very fun. It was fast. It was frenetic. I think I liked everything about this game. But of course, it's dead. So clearly, I'm wrong here. And there was something wrong with the game. I'm going to say it's an amazing game that did nothing wrong. But the rest of the world probably heavily disagrees. Is your favorite Dead Live Service game on this list? Tell me about it. Talk to me about it down in the comment section down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If your favorite live service game is not on this list, what is your favorite live service game? Tell me what your favorite dead live service game is right now. Leave it in the comments. Give me all the engagements and impression. Please, I want to get to 1,000 subscribers eventually so I can make that mucho dinero on YouTube. Anyway, this has been Beanie Thuggish for the YouTubes, making a dead live service game tier list of games that I know enough about. Sorry, I didn't fucking put Radical Heights on here. I never played it. Will you guys fuck off? Anyways, we'll see y'all next time.